And welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your hosts, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Daniel, splish splash, I was taking a bath. You know that?
Oh, God. It's not even Saturday.
It's not even Saturday. And you know what days are good for swimming? February. Anyway, so today, I'm trying to think of the best. We live in the middle of the desert. This is not the right top 8 debate for us to be talking about, really. But it is a theme that I quite enjoy. This week, I'm just going to jump right into telling them what we're talking about. Because you're looking at me like I've already gone off the rails. I may or may not have.
You are.
Yeah, but so our theme this week, it's a top 8 debate about nautical games. And I remember us discussing this last year. And at that time, I know we did not have enough games to debate.
Not yet. Actually, we just barely squeaked into this one as well.
Yeah.
Because I had to pull teeth for my honorable mentions.
I'm not saying I had a lot more, but I did have enough to debate,
in fact,
apparently.
One game on this list, I remember playing and I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember too much about it.
So then when that one comes up, let's hope you draw it for me, unless I have also forgotten about it, which is absolutely possible.
Yeah, that's why I have this lovely list over here, just in case, where I could do like a quick glance. Okay, I remember.
Yep, just in case we need to. So specifically, we're going to be talking about nautical games, and we're going to be having our normal top 8 debate, which is going to be good fun, because we always love these. And we also put a poll up on the Board Game Revolution group on Facebook to see, and had people vote for it and comment on one of their some of their favorite.
And remember, this is also the second week of our giveaway.
That's
so
right.
You're going to be getting a code name a little bit later.
Yep.
So you got to send it to our email at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. And the subject line, you say... You don't remember, do you?
No, I don't remember.
In the subject line, you say horrified.
Oh, horrified, yes, okay.
And then you say, in the body, you say the code phrase. That gives you a vote into it. Mm-hmm. What we're doing is you get a vote for every time you send us an email with the code phrase.
Yep,
you get a vote.
There's going to be a different code phrase for every week. So make
until
sure you listen to
March 11th.
March 11th, that's right.
We'll get you... Well, we're going to do the math real quick to find out where the cutoff is for the podcast side of it, because if you're watching us live on Twitch, you've had a couple weeks head start.
That's right.
But also, you're going to get a code phrase. That's going to give you 1 point every time you give us the email.
Yep. Last week's episode gave a code phrase as well, so go check that episode out. That was specifically the what are great games to play in strange places.
Yeah, unusual surroundings.
Uh-huh.
Also, if you follow us on YouTube, you get automatic. If you follow us on Twitch, automatic. Mm-hmm. And if you follow us on our official Twitter account, at EBG Podcast, that is another vote. Right now, it's only open to continental United States. We're going to see the logistics if we can send it elsewhere, because as you can see, I got a Canadians hat on right now.
Right. You're really in theme. We're going nautical games in the desert wearing a Canadian hat. That makes sense. That's in theme with our podcast.
We don't make sense at all, so I'm not surprised.
No, we never have, and nor should we at this point.
Yeah.
I think that right now we're so set in our stones that we're just gonna set in our ways. Our
stones really.
Set in our ways that we're just gonna have to go with it and play by ear, or play it by stones, really.
God, you're so all over the place today.
That's right. It's been a long week, and it's only Tuesday.
You're telling me it's been a long week.
That's right.
I've only worked 2 days this week because I had Sunday off, and I'm still tired.
Well, I clearly worked 2 days this week because it's Tuesday. Anyway, so let's talk nautical games. Why did we pick this theme?
Because it's something different. And also because there's a lot of games on here that we really, really enjoy and really don't debate too often. There's one...
Lahav is one of our more common.
So is Underwater Cities.
So is Underwater Cities. But that's probably about the extent of it.
Yeah.
Most of the others, I think we've
debated every single one of them except for our 7th seed at least one time.
Yes. No, have we debated Century Eastern Wonders before?
Not Eastern Wonders yet. We've always done Century. Or, actually, it was Gollum Edition, because that's the higher rated one.
Right, exactly. Century Gollum Edition or Spice Road, whichever flavor you want.
Yeah.
Either one we've debated. But, yeah, I mean, Raiders of the North Sea, yeah, we've debated that a bit. Amerigo, not much, maybe 2 or 3.
I know for sure Stefan Feld. I know
we
there
never
was...
debated Stefan Feld. We just did his breakdown.
No, we did.
Have we debated Feld?
Yeah.
I don't believe we
Hand me the Bible.
All right, now we're going to... Live interaction. Yep, that's right. We got to settle this now. I'm fairly certain. But who knows? Who knows? We're going to check this. I'm just going to be talking, filling time, as usual. Was that really a debate? All right.
Yeah, these are the ones we've done.
All right. It's more than I thought we did. That's a lot of debates.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we're like, this is like the 47th, I think, top 8 debate.
Yeah, something like that. I lose track after the third or fourth.
Actually, I can check real quick.
Nah, you know what? Let's just go into it. We'll check later.
It is the 48th top 8 debate.
All right. So, yeah, it's not an insignificant amount. That's fine.
We're too shy of 50 top 8 debates.
Wow. No wonder we're running out of ideas real fast. No.
Or you can't remember them.
I can't remember them. I'm too old now.
Yeah, that's it.
My memory is jogging me.
Once you turn 30, it goes all downhill.
Right. All downhill from here. That's all right. Wow, this has really gone to a depressing slope of topic here. But no, actually, so Nautical Games, back on topic. This is actually one of my favorite, if not my fully favorite theme in board games. I don't know if you knew that about me, but like, because most of my games that I like don't have nautical themes. But
most of the games you like don't have themes.
They don't have themes in general, right? Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, like, there's something that if somebody tells me, ooh, this is a nautical theme, and not like I'm on boats or like pirates and stuff, I don't like that. That's fine. But when it's like deep sea diving and like ocean and all that stuff,
I'm actually gonna change one of my things because it wasn't on the list, but it fits this category.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, it's one of those things where I don't know why I get really genuinely excited about this theme, and I've always enjoyed games that have this nautical under the water theme. There was a game for the Wii, Endless Ocean. Do you remember? Have you ever played that?
No, I actually like good games.
No, Endless Ocean is a fine game. It's more like an exploring game. There's not much combat.
Exploration was the last top 8 debate, so...
Right, no. But it makes sense because you're just a deep sea diver and you're just trying to catalog fish like for science. There's even a mode where you can upload your MP3s into the Wii and you could just sit at the back of the boat looking at this lovely sunset and it's just playing music. Like, it's not even... It's like a screensaver. It's so dumb. But the game itself is actually really, really calming and relaxing. And I've always liked Echo and...
Echo wasn't a bad game. It was also a difficult game.
It was very difficult. I was terrible.
Most of the Sega games back in the day were just ridiculous. Yes. Going off the rails again, you were just reminding me not too long ago about Lion King where you're teasing your son with it.
Yep. Paid him $2 for every level he could pass.
He passed how many levels?
He earned $2. That was it. And he's a pretty hardcore gamer, but...
I'm a pretty hardcore gamer, and I could barely handle Lion King. I don't think I ever beat that game.
No, most people haven't. Anybody who says that they have, they lie.
I've seen the ending of it just because I looked at people online, but yeah, that game is ridiculous.
Just to see if an ending exists.
Yeah, I got so frustrated with that game when I was younger.
Yeah.
So frustrated.
No, that's understandable.
To the point where I played the SNES version because it was easier.
Of course. Right? I don't blame you. But no, like, I've always loved the underwater, like, ocean diving.
Have you tried the video game Subnautica then?
No, I've seen it. So, here's why I don't want to play it. It looks fine for what it is, but I don't like the idea that you're also trying to defend yourself against these giant monsters and stuff. Like,
we would have to do that in our own ocean.
Yes, agreed. But, like, it's just... I don't know. It's kind of boring. It's just not that great. I don't know. It's fine for the people who like that thing. It's like if you're on a distant planet and you have to deal with like whatever aliens or weird creatures. It's the same. It feels like all the same game to me. That's why I like Endless Ocean, is because it's not. I guess it's less of a game. It's more. It's closer to Animal Crossing in forms of a game than it is more like Astroneer or You're
comparing Subnautica
to Astroneer.
To Animal Crossing?
No, I'm comparing Subnautica to Astroneer,
Okay.
whereas Endless Ocean would be more like Animal Crossing, right?
I was like, whoa,
No.
that's way. I've heard like jumping the shark and
Jumping
stretching the truth and stuff like that.
Reel it in. Well done. Lexi B, hi, good seeing you. Thanks for joining us on the podcast tonight.
All right, so do you want to get into this? Well, first off, let's tell them what nautical games are on Board Game Geek.
Sure.
Nautical games involve sailors, ships, indoor maritime navigation as a major components of the theme or gameplay. Most nautical games require players to effectively control ships as an objective.
That's right. And so, some of the ones that were on here, I'm just going to give an honorable mention to my honorable mentions. Concordia is an amazing game, and it's ranked really high on this list. I fully agree that Concordia should be ranked this high. It makes no sense that there is boats, technically. It is not a nautical game. It's not. Yes, I know who Lexi B is, yes. And I'll leave it at that. No. It's my sister, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
She's trolling. But yeah, no, Concordia, though, I completely agree with it being on this list, except it's really not a nautical game. It's about area control, Euro, card management, all sorts of fun stuff like this. It is not about nautical whatsoever, other than the fact that instead of people running through land paths...
Ithree's added, if Concordia is a nautical game, then Keyflower is a nautical game.
I couldn't agree more.
Two games I haven't played, so I can't make that distinction.
Might be on this list too. That's the thing. I don't remember if it is.
It's not.
But Concordia really shouldn't be. It's kind of like calling Ticket to Ride a traveling game. It's not.
Well, technically it is.
It's closer than Concordia is to nautical. It is. I'll give you that. But I don't know.
No, they have not made a Subnautica board game. We were making a video game comparison to nautical themes.
Yes. Yeah. And but long story short, I like Endless Ocean. It's really good. But yeah, nautical games. I'm excited to debate this, and I actually came up with my 3 honorable mentions. No thought into it. It's like, which 3 am I going to pick? This one, this one, this one. Done.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't even write them down. I know what they are.
All right, let's get into the people's honorable mention, though. As always, just remember that we always put a poll on Board Game Revolution community group, and this way you can get involved with us. So you can add your own. That would be your honorable mention, as well as you can give us a comment down below why you voted the way you did.
That's right. So we're going to start off by talking about Bruce's edition, which has the most votes out of all of ours, and that's Nemo's War. One that I've been really excited to try.
I want to try it
in the future.
But I can't try it with you because of the solo game.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing about it. It's like this big, heavy box. It's like a $50, $60 game, and it's only solo.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's a 2-player variant, but everybody says don't touch that. So I'm not going to touch it, especially since I want a little bit more gravitas with solo games. Like, that's why I'm in Final Girl, and so I want to try this one just because how much of an experience it is for solo players. I just
realized, was the crew Deepsea Adventure in our list?
No.
How? And Concordia is?
You're
okay. That must be a typo. Okay.
It's not a typo. I guess it just don't consider nautical for some reason. I don't know how Board Game Geek decides the things they decide.
Flipping a coin, maybe?
Apparently, like we do.
All
right, so the next one added on our list was Maracaibo. Now, this is on a short list that I want to play. I do own it. It's on my shelf of shame up there, and I do want to try it. I know you're hit or miss with Fister games so far. This is a Fister with legacy aspects.
I've liked all of his small stuff. And in fact, with the exception of Broom Service. I think that's a Fister, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm fairly certain. I know the card game is Fister. Yeah, the card game is Fister. I'm pretty sure the board game is Fister as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've only remember playing Broom Service. I don't know if it was actually his or not.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain it was. But there was 1 or 2 of his that I've played that the big ones just don't seem streamlined. But his small stuff, so far I'm really digging. All right, the next one was by Ian, and he suggested Tiny Epic Pirates. I don't have this one off my shelf of shame yet.
Yeah, I haven't played that one. Jolene added Jaws. Such a good game. We may talk about this a little later.
All right, sounds like a plan. George added Explorers of the North Sea.
Not one I've played. I've played the only one I've played of the North Sea trilogy is actually on this list, Raiders of the North Sea. So Shipwrights and Explorers I have not touched.
Yep. And Lexi B commented on our original "How is the Crew not a nautical game?" and she replied, "It's a mystery. Like, why is the sky blue, or how do magnets work? Because of miracles. That's why." If you know that reference, then I'm sorry. All right, you said Kristen's. Randy added...
No, you were on
Kristen. Okay. Kristen added Forgotten Waters.
Another one that I want to play. I like Plat Hat games. This one I've heard is really, really good. Is app-driven at times because a lot of the story is based in the app.
Yeah.
But I don't mind that, just letting everybody know who hasn't played it what they're getting into.
Yep.
Randy added Seafall, a legacy game made by Rob Davio that didn't already have a game built for it.
Yeah. This was his first foray into non-pre-built games. So, yeah, I'm excited to try it eventually.
Now, eventually we'll get it to the table. Yeah.
Too many legacy games right now. Jamie added Endeavor: Age of Sail. No, nothing about this one.
I've seen it. I know it's been on some people's top 100 lists. I had a chance of buying it pretty cheap because I had a discount card on Amazon. It was on sale for like $40 or something like that. I don't know enough of it that I really wanted to get into it. You skipped one. Ian added Sleeping Gods by Ryan Lockett. We've talked about this during Exploration.
Yep.
Both of us really, really want to try this. We just haven't got it to the table. Our mutual friend actually owns this. So
yeah. Good deal. And Jamie also added Merchants and Marauders.
This one I'm not too familiar with. I've heard of it, but it's not something I've played.
Yep. And Lexi B added, I would also like to add Rampage. What are we adding things to?
It's the list of nautical games. This is our audience's honorable mentions.
That's right. Let's go into the comments and see what they said about it. That was just added into the poll. Luke said Sword and Skull, but did not add it to the poll, but it's worth noting.
Yep. Isaac said, for me, Maracaibo has a huge replayability with different ways to gain points in the mini legacy mode. I'll be playing this one for a while. And I was just letting him know that I own it and just haven't got to the table. There was a whole discussion about it. It will work for some groups. It won't work for others. But that was it.
That's right. So before we get into the list, let's do our honorable mention first, and then...
The code phrase?
The code phrase.
All right. So you got the Coin of Doom?
I do. So, as always, we flip our Coin of Doom. Let's see who's going to be talking about our honorable mentions first. And JDWBG, Jamaica. That is definitely going to be on our list here shortly. Yeah. You're right. All right, heads. I will be going first. My first honorable mention is a game that I had to confirm if it was on our list earlier. So, I put that as number 3 just because you already know what it is. And it's a big party game by... a designer that I'm quite a fan of, Kane Klenko. And, is it? Or is it Roberto Fraga? I forget off the top of my head. It's Captain Sonar.
Oh, yeah.
4 versus 4 on opposite sides of the screen. It is live action, real-time battleship. That's really what it boils down to. You're doing mini games. You're trying to... The engineer is always breaking things. You need to find a way to heal up. Sometimes you have to come out of the water, which makes you skip turns and do like another annoying little mini game. There's so many different fun things about it, but Captain Sonar is easily one of the funnest times I've had in a game that big, and it goes over every single time. The only people that I've met who did not like Captain Sonar don't like real-time games in the slightest bit anyway, and so they wouldn't have played it regardless. But they did seem to really... They appreciated it for what it was, but they didn't want to play it, which makes sense. I get that. If you're not a real-time gamer, you're not going to like it. That's not going to win you over. But if you don't care, if you don't mind, Captain Sonar is hands down such a fun experience.
Yeah, it sounds like it. I just haven't played this one.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if I would play the full big version. Maybe the smaller version that you can get in like Target or something like that. It's called Sonar. It's for 4 players, right?
2 to 4.
Yeah. That just kind of a lot of people screaming and shouting and all that sort of stuff. It just
right. See, and I love that. I think it's just so immersive. You really feel like you're like struggling to get away from them. Like you're like whispering to each other. You're like, all right, well, can we just? It's like, all right, we're going north, and then you have the radio technician who's listening to everything they're saying, trying with this overlay, trying to figure out where they could be. You have, the engineer. It's like, all right, fire the weapons. We can't. You broke them 3 turns ago. Well, what can we do? If you go west, then we can fix this. But if we go west, they'll know where we are. It's this whole thing where it just goes better and better every time. It's so cool. You really need to give it a shot next time we're in like a group setting, if that ever happens.
Yeah.
Again.
Last time we've been in a big group setting is when?
Right. It's a couple years now.
Yeah. My first honorable mention on my list is actually not in the nautical theme, but I think it actually fits it because if Aquatica is in it, then this one surely is.
It should be. Yep.
And this is Abyss. Bruno Cathala card game where it's also really a political game as well. You're doing politics under the sea.
Under the sea.
So it's got a couple interesting concepts with it. You have your push your luck on the first track. You got to pick a choice of your cards, but you got to remember what is where because it's a blind draw on that at that point. As well, going back to the push your luck, if everybody else wants it, they're starting to pay you. This way, hey, on their turn, if something good comes up, you have the pearls to pay for that. Great components, great artwork. I just have a really good time playing this one. I do have one of the expansions. I need a second one. But yeah, for my first pick, it's Abyss.
Abyss. Yeah, it's been many years since I've played this one.
We'll have to play it again then.
All right. That sounds good. And JDWBG says, I scream and shout in the mind. We don't play it that much anymore. Which is fair. I quite like the mind. He hates it. That's fine. It is what it is.
It belongs in the trash right there.
Nope. It's a wonderful game.
No, it's not.
Fantastic.
All right, you're Corn Doom.
Yes. We're going to do this for each one.
Yep, that's what we always do.
So my next honorable mention is a game that I talk about fairly often. It is a solo, press your luck, roll and write game.
I knew this was going to be on your list. Once we came up with nautical theme, I'm like, this is going to be on his list. Yep. I didn't even need to scroll through it to see if it was there.
Yeah, no, I don't even know if it's on the nautical list. It probably is.
It is. I saw it.
Okay, good. That's Bargain Basement Bathysphere. Bargain Basement Bathysphere is so darn fun. All I can say is if you've heard many of the other podcasts where this would count as, it's a fantastic game. I enjoyed the mess out of it. It's real. I love the whole story. It doesn't take itself seriously, and that's on purpose.
Yeah.
It's completely over the top, and it's a good game on top of it. It's similar to Deepsea Adventure in the way of how it works, is that you're going down as far as you can with still having air, but then eventually you have to get back up.
Also, it's actually getting a physical print.
Yes, by WizKids.
WizKids, yeah.
Yep. And you better believe I'm going to buy it.
Oh,
but that's Bargain Basement Bathysphere.
I still have yet to try this. Maybe I'll try it when I get the physical copy, just because I didn't want to print all that crap out.
And to clarify in the notes or in the comments here, you know how you don't like the mind? Lexi B hates Dominion.
I don't blame her. It's ugly as sin.
I'm getting no love here.
You're not. When do you ever?
That's a good point.
Even your wife turns against you.
But she likes Dominion at least.
Yeah, I don't know why. But then she married you, so there's no accounting for
Whoa, under the bus. Under the bus. Wow, oof. You're going to have to talk with her about that. She's a furious little fighter. She'll take you out.
I'm afraid of Stacy. That's not a problem.
Oh, that's good.
All right, so my next one on my list is one that we both really enjoy.
Okay.
Speaking of which, you did name him earlier, Kane Klinko, and this is Dead Man Tell No Tales.
Yep.
I really like this game. I wish I have a copy of this. I think this one actually deserves a reprint with some nice... it had great artwork to begin with, but just like a upgraded version of it, I think it would be phenomenal. You're working as a crew, you're trying to get as much treasure. Your captain is actually pushing you to go on this ghost ship. You're fighting ghosts, and it's just, oh man, the stress levels on this is ridiculous.
All right, DMTNT is coming out from...
Not familiar with that one.
Oh. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not familiar with DMTNT, so please clarify, JDW. And then tell them the story of deception and disappointment that by you for me. I don't remember that story, to be honest. Oh, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
I didn't know it was called DMTNT.
Yeah. I mean, it all makes perfect sense now.
Yeah.
And Lexi B, you'll have to clarify. I don't remember the story. I apologize. All I just remember is the only time you ever played it, you hated it. So
the only time I ever played it, I didn't like it. So, all right, moving into the Coin of Doom,
and our last one. You'll start us off.
All right, for my last one was mentioned by the People's Honorable Mention, and this is Jaws. I thoroughly enjoy this game. It's probably one of my favorite hidden movement games. We have talked about this before in other podcasts. It is such a wonderful, tight game by Prospero Hall that does feel thematic to the movie. Especially the first part, when you're playing as the shark or you're playing as the hunters trying to find the shark before it eats everybody. It feels so good. And then when you're the shark and you eat everybody and get as much points as possible, it really is a phenomenal game by Prospero Hall. One of their first ones under when they were with Ravensburger for a little bit. I love the components quality in this one. I have a great time playing it. I still personally prefer the first part of it more so than the second part of it because that's a little bit more random and luck of the draw kind of situation than it is on the first part. But so good. Jaws by Prospero Hall.
All right. Unpopular opinion by JDWBG. Shark Island is better, worst rulebook game, great game. I haven't played it. The cover's amazing.
Yeah, the cover looks good.
Yeah. And my final one is in the Oniverse. It's the only nautical one.
Yeah,
this was obvious. Nautilion.
Nautilion,
yeah. And or Nautilion, I don't know how you pronounce it, but yeah, it's the nautical one. If there was one that could unseat Onirim for my favorite one of this series, this is the one.
This is not the one that has the dice, right?
Well, there's a few that have the dice. Arion and this both have dice.
Okay.
The way this works is that you're rolling 3 dice. You have your ship on one side. There's a series of tokens that go around that are numbered from 1 to 9. I think there's like 4 of each. And then there's the bad ship that's on the other side of this path. And you're going in opposite directions. And so you roll your 3 dice. One will be your movement. One will be the bad ship's movement. And the third one will be placed on this card where if you put too low of a number or too high of a number, I forget exactly which one, it'll penalize you.
Oof.
Yeah. Or I'm sorry, too low of a number. If it's too low, it'll penalize you. So, because the idea is that you want to move... Oh, no, it's high. It would be high. Yeah, because you want to try and move along and you want to be able to get to the point where you're taking up the correct tokens. Like, let's say I pick a number 4, right? I put that on my ship. But then from that point, I can only pick up tokens that are adjacent to the number 4. So that would be 2 and 6 or whatever, the 2 that are adjacent to it.
Okay.
And so you're trying to just fill your ship with the 9 tokens that you need. But the bad ship that's moving the opposite direction, any spots that it lands on, it removes those tiles as well. So if you ever get to the end of the line, or the bad ship ever gets to the end of the line before you have those, you lose. So it's a cool little puzzle of like you roll the 3 dice and all you have to do is figure out which one goes here, which one goes there, and which one you get penalized for, depending on the number. And it's a really smart game. Incredibly simple, really smart. Has like 6 boards that you can use. Has extra, of course, many expansions that you can use. As always, it was pretty great. All right, so let's tell the story of Lexi B. I'm going to read this out loud for our viewers.
Okay.
Probably damning me, but that's okay. It says, when you duped me into playing the game telling me it was a deck building game, which is true. It is a deck building game. It sounded interesting, but you left out one really important point. At the end of 3 hours that I sat there with you and constructed my deck, we stopped and you said, that's it. I thought we were building the deck to play a card game. What sick expletive would make me make a game out of building a deck and call it good? That's like making a 5-star diner with the best ingredients, and when you're done cooking and your stomach is growling like a yeti and you toss it in the trash and go to sleep.
Well, technically, you're not wrong. It is a deck builder. But if someone is like used to playing like Magic and deck construction,
right, a pre-constructed deck game, yes, I get that. Yeah, Summer Camp, amazing game.
Love that game.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get any more off topic on this podcast, I want to let everybody know we are giving away a copy of Horrified American Monsters. All you have to do is be a follower to get on Twitter, on Twitch, and YouTube to get a free ticket for each one of those, as well as when you can email us at everydayboardgamespodcast or everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com and say in the subject line horrified, and then in the body you take the secret word. You want to tell the people who the secret word is?
Yeah. Our secret word this week is champy. Can you explain to them what champy is?
So, since we're giving away Horrified American Monsters, it's about cryptids.
Yep.
So, if you're familiar with cryptids, most people will know who Champ or Champy is. Yep. It is the Loch Ness Monster of Lake Champlain, I believe, is what it's called.
Okay.
And so, it's supposedly a lot like the Loch Ness Monster, but in America.
Yeah. So, even if you misspell it, we're not too worried about it. We'll know what you're talking about. Champ-E. All right. So, yeah, that is our keyword. We'll give it again, maybe at the end. Maybe we'll be nice. We'll see.
You'll see.
Yeah, but now, let's get into the debate. Today, we are going to be debating 8 games. The way that we find these 8 games is we go on to BoardGameGeek.com, pick either a category, a designer, an artist, a publisher, a mechanism, one of those topics, and find the top-rated games of that category. At that point, we take the 8 that are highest ranked that you and I have both played, and we take those and we put them in our bracket. This is like a football league bracket that we're going to be debating each one round per round, the highest seed versus the lowest seed. And this week, since it's nautical themed, our number 1 seed that both of us have played is our number 1 seed, Underwater Cities, and that is going to go up against
the number 8 seed, Aquatica.
And our number 2 seed, Lahav.
Going up against our 7 seed, Deepsea Adventure.
Our number 3 seed, Raiders of the North Sea.
Going up against our 6 seed, Century Eastern Wonders.
And our final bracket, our number 4 seed, Amerigo.
Versus our number 5 seed, Jamaica.
All right. So that'll be our brackets that we're going to be debating on. As always, we take 5 different criteria when we debate on these. The first always has ease of play. Ease of play is how simple the game is, how simple and familiar the mechanisms are, the likelihood of getting it to the table, either by theme or by familiarity of mechanisms, and whether it's prone to analysis paralysis. If it's really good, if you can give some deep thought without having to think so stressfully like chess or completely arbitrarily like other games where you have too many good options, well then, there you go. That's ease of play. And have a good night, Lexi B. Thanks for joining us.
The next one is replay value. This means the length of time and how well it scales on whether it's 2 or 4 players, or more, depending on how much it holds. Does it extend the time, or does it play relatively the same all the way around? Next up is minimum number of plays for full experience. This means we're talking about a campaign game. It's probably going to have more chances to win this category because you have more chances to play it to get the full experience, whereas you're playing something like Hive and it's pretty much the same game every time. As well as expandability. Already existing expansions, up to 1 possible future expansions. Our space bases are always go-to here. We assume there was a volume 1. We were assuming there was a volume 2. They just announced it. Or confirmed by the designer or publisher. This one as well is Wingspan. They already said they were going to do an expansion for every single continent. So, there you go.
Yep. And the next one is a meaningful choice. How well can you impact other players' strategies? How well can you affect your long-term goals and strategies in the game? And finally, do arbitrary choices make an impact on the gameplay? And so, the first 2 are obvious, like direct strategy, how well you can impact yourself and or other players. If you're playing multiplayer solitaire, that's kind of a knock for meaningful choice. because what I do doesn't matter to you at all.
Yep.
But really, the arbitrary choices, and that can go both ways. You could have either too many good choices or too many bad choices, where the choices simply just don't matter. And that's true either way. If every option is good, then it doesn't matter what you pick, because you're going to be fine, you know? So that's obviously a knock to it if that happens.
And the next one on our list here is game immersion. Does the game fit the category best, or does the theme match the mechanism? Next up is player interaction. This includes table talk and role-playing. Are you really getting into it? Are you feeling how much you love this character you're playing as? Case in point, we just played Lost Ruins of Arnak with the most recent expansion that had you playing different characters as expedition leaders. And we had a blast doing it, and we were really getting into the characters that we were playing as well as memorable moments. What are those things that are going to make you stand up at the table and have a loud bellow to say you've done something great?
Exactly. And our final one is art and production. Those break down into three spots. The art, obviously, which we know is subjective, but some are just very clearly, obviously better than others. The pieces and components, how consistent they are, what materials they use from it, like cards being bent up. If it's flimsy, do the cards shuffle?
Are the cards really
meeples?
thin instead of, good?
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, the graphic design. And that goes into a lot of things. The graphic design of the box, as well as colorblind friendly. Is it one of those? Is it friendly to the eyes? How well is it a wall of text? Is it iconic, heavy? Yeah. There's a lot of factors that can go into it, which we'll be discussing.
And if all else fails and we can't come to an agreement, this is where it's important for you to go at the Board Game Revolution podcast and put in your vote on the poll, because when all said and done, if we can't make a decision, you're the tiebreaker. Whichever game is higher rated goes into it.
I'm going to do a little quick show and tell of what I mean by graphic design.
Oh, here we go.
No, this is very quick, because I just read the rules for this game and I'm excited to play it. But look at that card. You tell me that's ugly.
Oh, that is ugly.
Yeah. I'm going to show the viewers here. This game is a game called Amun-Re the Card Game.
It's washed out.
Wow, it is washed out. Let me show the viewers, because that's a lot of empty space on this card. And that's a lot of awkward. And it's supposed to be like a grid style that does not show that well. This has got to be one of the ugliest cards. And
it's a Reiner Knizia game. What do you expect?
No, well, Super Meeple makes generally decent stuff. What do you notice strange about these cards?
They're not normal card size.
No, they're awkwardly wider than normal card size.
Yeah. They're a little more squarish than rectangular.
Yeah, they are. And there's supposed to be different colors for this. So you see what we mean. That can be very bothersome, and especially if it's not colorblind friendly. And welcome back to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your host. No.
Why'd you have to go and show those ugly colors? It broke the internet.
It broke the internet. All right.
Reiner Knizia's Amun-Ra broke the internet.
Amun-Re the Card Game. But here's the thing. You can't blame Knizia for the graphic design. That wasn't his doing. That was Super Meeple, the publishing company. That's their doing.
Still.
Shame on them.
Broke it.
Breaking our internet. And for 2,500 customers, that's not nice.
No.
Shame on you, Super Meeple. We kid. Alright, so, yeah, we're back. Sorry about that outage. We had an internet outage here at our filming studio. And, it is what it is. So, but we're back. And we're going to jump straight into it. I'm not even going to continue where I left off, because I'm afraid I would have to show the cards again. And
no. We don't want that to
happen. So, we're just going to jump straight into the debate. So our first round is going to be Underwater Cities versus Aquatica. And Daniel, I'll be starting us off on this debate.
You get Aquatica.
That's good, because I actually think, between the two, I do think Aquatica, believe it or not, I think should move on. And that's because Aquatica, first off, is picked as a Dice Tower Essential, okay? Which, most of those tend to be hits. More hits than misses, in my opinion. I do tend to like those quite a bit. But this was one of those instant, as soon as I played it, I wanted to buy it games. The mechanisms and how you play, it's very simple to understand after a while. the combo-tastic nature of it is one thing that scratches a really fine itch that very few designers can pull off. Where one thing triggers another thing, which lets you do another thing, and then you're comboing about 5 different things on your turn. It's brilliant how it works. I think it's amazing art, wonderful production value with the little manta rays with the icons on them.
Also do have to say, easier to play.
Easier to play, yeah. The graphic design is really solid. All those icons, once you know what they mean, makes a lot of sense. You know, there's only like one like tiny little drawback to it that I would say, and that's there's one row of cards or something that I forget exactly what it is, where if you do a certain action, you don't have to like trade them out. Whereas in every other instance, you do have to trade something. Mm-hmm. I forget which one that is, but it's such a minor detail.
Yeah,
that I just remember it wasn't immediately intuitive. Other than that, it's a phenomenal game, and I do think it should move on. This is my pick between the two.
I have to argue Underwater Cities, and a lot of the ways I can't really disagree with what you've just said. I think Underwater Cities is still a good game. I really, really enjoy the way Underwater Cities play. I love worker placement games. I think they're probably my go-to mechanism, that when we talk about ease of play, familiarity of the mechanism,
yeah,
they're always the ones that are going to grab me because I'm very familiar with them. I really enjoy them. I also like the fact that it's a nice twist to a worker placement, because you're going to play where your worker's going to go, but you got to make sure you have the card that matches it for you can get that power, and you're setting up this little nice engine as well, because you're like, okay, I get this, and then this is going to start producing this, and if I'm going to do this and play this part, then I can start producing this, and I can combo all of these. Right. I love that part of it. However, it's a really long game. If you're going to play this game, you're going to be invested in this game. It is a long, long game, but It's so, so fun.
And it is good. Out of all of the longer ones from CGE, of all people, I do like it. It has a lot of really fun stuff, and I would gladly play it again.
You know what hurts it for me? Underwater Cities? They have another worker placement game that they just recently came out with, and we talked about it earlier, that we played the expansion to it. Mm-hmm. And if I'm going to have to choose between those two, I'm going to choose Lost Ruins of Arnak, hands down.
Yeah. So let's break down the 5 criteria, because I don't want to just... My initial response is that I think Aquatica wins and goes on, but that I think we just both like it better. So let's double check it and make sure that that's really what it is. So immediately, obviously, ease of play goes to Aquatica.
Yeah, hands down.
What about replay value?
I think the length of time and scaling well is very good. Just give me one sec. My mother-in-law decides this time of all times to start messaging me. The length of time is a lot shorter in Aquatica. That game plays a lot faster, and to full counts. If you're playing a full game of Underwater Cities, you could be there for like 3 hours. Right. Aquatica, if you're playing a 4-player game of that, an hour, hour and a half maybe. Yeah. Minimum number of plays to get the full experience.
That's tough.
That's tough. Underwater Cities changes a little bit. Aquatica, just because of how big the stack of cards is, I would consider that one a wash, really.
Okay, that's fine.
Expandability. I don't know how many expansions Underwater City has. I know Aquatica has 1.
Yes, I believe so.
No, I know so, because I own it.
Oh, okay. But I don't know if any have been announced.
And I know Underwater City has 1 for sure. But I can do this quick and check it up.
Okay. While you're doing that, let's go ahead and I'll skip to the next one.
That's right.
Meaningful choice, I do think that would go to Underwater Cities.
Yes, Underwater Cities does have a lot more meaningful choice. You're really beholden to like the card flips in Aquatica. Whereas you have a lot more choices, so 1 as well. So both of them only have 1 expansion.
Okay. All right. So then those are... So
replay value is a wash.
Well, no.
No, because we considered Moner, and then length of time was Aquatica, so that's 2 right now. Meaningful choice is 2 to 1. Game immersion.
Okay. Neither are very thematic, but, I mean, Aquatica definitely isn't thematic.
No, it is not. So, you do feel like you're building your cities and your resources and getting them connected, so I can feel the game fits the category best. There is a bit more player interaction, and I believe Aquatica. Because
I think
because you got.
I will say there's more memorable moments
in Aquatica. The blocking the other person is probably your more likely to impact the player interaction.
Yeah.
Art and production, Aquatica.
Yeah.
Aquatica.
So that means Aquatica moves on.
All right.
It's rare that we get a number 8 seed.
Upsetting a 1.
Yeah, especially on the first round. But there it is. Aquatica moves on.
All right. Our next up is our number 2 seed, Lahav, versus 7 Deepsea Adventure.
That's right.
Are we going to get another upset?
Let's find out. So, Daniel, I will be starting off this next round. I just flipped a coin of doom. Now we're going into the cup of doom. I have to argue for Lahav. Okay.
Which you're happy about, aren't you?
No, because I actually really like both of these, and I know you're having trouble remembering a lot of Deepsea Adventure, so I'll do my best.
I wrote the gist of it.
Yeah. So, Lahav, it's definitely an Uwe Rosenberg game, and you can tell that hands down, because of the fact that, yes, you're at a harbor, and yes, you're trading in stuff that would commonly be at a harbor, like fish and whatnot. That's about the extent of it. And the only reason that it is considered a nautical theme is because you're at a harbor. I mean, and you move the boat around to which actions, but really that's just a timer marker more than anything. So I don't consider that an actual control over that, because if there's just another token, you can still do it. But with that being said, though, even though I don't think it's anywhere near as thematic, I do think it's a fantastic strategy game. Every building that is out, you're gonna know what comes out in which order. Mm-hmm. You can only have some available at a time. You have to put them in a specific order, very much, because we want to make sure that that you have access to the easier to get buildings, and then goes down to the harder to get buildings in order. But you don't know exactly how those are going to show up and when, other than when people are going to buy it. All of the resources can upgrade to a better version of themselves. And you can use other people's buildings as worker placement spots, which is super innovative. There's a lot to go off of it. Meaningful choice and number of plays for the experience. Replay value is definitely Lahav. Other than scaling well, it doesn't scale that well. It's a much longer game.
Oh, yeah.
But that's really only it. It has expansions. It has more to do. More variable setup. Deepsea Adventure, technically the whole map is a variable setup, but it doesn't change how you play. You're always going to play the same game every time. So when it comes down to it, I do think Lahav should move on.
Yeah, I can't really disagree with you. We're having little technical issues. Again, it has to do with the internet, so we're just trying to trudge through. So please bear with us.
And hello, Illuminous. Thanks for joining us again.
Deepsea Adventure, this is the one that I have the hardest time remembering. Mm-hmm. I had to look it up real quick. I like the fact that it's the push your luck aspect of it. Yes. I think it's a really good push your luck game. It does things.
And it's a group push your luck.
Yeah. So you're trying to get as much ruin as possible to get your points, and try to spread them around as best as possible. Mm-hmm. I think it's a phenomenal game for what it is, but honestly, when we're talking about like theme matching the mechanism,
it's more thematic than the harbor.
Well, yeah, I'll give you that. But that's also Uwe Rosenberg.
Right.
I don't know. I'm going to have to go through the criteria. I think they're both good games. But honestly, I agree with you that, okay, easy play, Deepsea Adventure. Yes. Hands down. Replay value? Lahav. Meaningful choice? Lahav. Game immersion?
Deepsea Adventure. Because the whole thing is you're going down as a group.
Well, I'll give you the fact that it does
it fits the mechanism.
It fits the mechanism the best, but I don't think it gets the whole game immersion part of it.
Oh, absolutely, because the player interaction, because it's all a communal press your luck thing, you either keep going or you choose. Once it turns around, then you see if you survive or not. Like, that is so fun to push people along that line. It's awesome. And so much to the point where I'll even give it memorable moments, because when me and my son played this, he beat me. Here's our final score. You ready? 57-0. I only got a single token out of the entire game, and it was a 0. And he beat me over the rounds 57 points. It was ridiculous. It was a wash. He still brags about that to this day, and that was probably 3 years ago.
The problem with this, it's a memorable moment for you. Deepsea Adventure is so memorable for me, I had to look it up before we did this debate.
It's been a really long time since you played it.
Yeah, it's been years.
Yeah.
But it's been about 2 years since I played Lahav.
Filler, and that's harder to remember than spending all that mental capacity in order to learn Lahav.
2 years since I last played Lahav, and I remember it more than I remember Deepsea Adventure.
Yeah, because you had to put more effort into learning it. That's what I'm saying. It's just naturally that you've put that effort in, you'll probably remember
I'll give you game immersion, because we got to get through this.
Right. But
art and production.
I don't particularly like the art on Deepsea Adventure. It's
Nor do I.
And I get the different shapes of tiles, but I don't know. It's not all that great. So I would give arts and components.
This is probably one of the few times a Uwe Rosenberg game is going to win art and production.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because your workers are discs.
Yep. So Lahav moves on to our number 1 seed. All right. Our next round will be Raiders of the North Sea, our number 3 seed, versus number 6 seed, Century Eastern Wonders.
Ooh, this is a tough one. I like both of these games.
Yeah, these are both good. And I don't dislike any of these games that are on this list. I genuinely like all of them.
I like all of them. One of them I'm okay with more than anything. Who's getting this one?
You'll be starting us off.
I get Century Eastern Wonders.
You're not happy about that, are you?
Actually, I could care less.
Oh, okay.
I like Century.
Yay for the difference.
I personally prefer Century Golem Edition just because it's more colorful. Sure. I can see it better, but they're pretty much the same. And Eastern Wonders works because you are moving ships around the board. It's
fictionalized.
Yeah,
it's absolutely not.
It's a great game. Abstractic when it comes to the theme, really. Honestly, case in point, they made a whole other game and it still fits because you're basically mine carts instead of ships. Yep. So that's a knock against it, but it's still a solid game, especially for a pick up and deliver game. You're going around like the islands, which is a modular board in a sense. You make the board itself. You just have to make sure you have the same points. But yeah, it's so good. Art on it for this one it's pretty good. It's really good production style. My only issue is with the spices. 2 of them are really close to the same color. And the thing is, like for me personally, I can actually separate stuff usually when I'm playing the games. And if I got a red on this side and a green on this side, it works. But this game, you can't do it because it's the upgrade factor. So if I'm doing this, I got to upgrade to this. If I'm doing this, I got to upgrade to this. They have to be in a row for you could figure it out. That's the only knock I really have for Century Wonders is the colors, or Eastern Wonders is because of the colors. Overall, this is one of the most solid games on this list.
Yep.
For as small of a box it comes in, too. It is probably one of the smallest games other than Deepsea Adventure.
Yeah.
Has some of the best art in the game, like on the cards and stuff like that. But it's going against Shem Phillips' Raiders of the North Sea, which is a phenomenal game, too. This one's going to be tough for me, but Eastern Wonders is going to put up a fight, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so Raiders of the North Sea, obviously, you said it earlier, Shem Phillips. It's kind of what put him on the map really. Yeah. It really was. Because out of the North Sea games, this is the one that gets the most praise by far, because it's just not well known. In this game, believe it or not, this was actually taught to me in a bar. I actually played this in a bar. It was the weirdest thing. It was at a convention and meeting with some people, and we sat down and we played it, and it was genuinely fun, and I enjoyed it. And I don't normally tend to have fun in a bar, because I don't drink, so I'm just around drunk people. But no, this was a neat game. I was sold on the series because of this game, and so what I like about it is that it's the whole, like, it's almost kind of like worker placement. Like, you put your stuff out and you upgrade your workers as you're moving them out farther down the sea. You're trying to get better workers for different situations. So not only do you have to contend with placing your workers out, and hopefully your opponents won't, you also have to make sure that you have the right resources that can go to the next spot. with that being said, it's definitely not nautical as far as the gameplay goes.
No, here's my big issue with the nautical part of Raiders of the North Sea. You play on one side land,
yes.
Then you play a couple times in harbors, and then you're raiding the other land.
Yeah, it's more about raiding.
Yeah.
It's definitely more of the raiding part of the North Sea.
So, like some of the other games, now I haven't played them, but Shipwrights of the North Sea and Explorers of the North Sea probably more nautical than this one is.
Yeah. Oh, I'm certain they are. It would not be hard to... Deepsea Adventure is more nautical than this. But, that's not what we're arguing. As far as it having the cult following, there's a reason it's ranked this high. That whole worker replacement, worker upgrading, whatever you want to call it, that's a very intriguing concept.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would pass by. I think we're going to have to break it down.
Yeah, I do have to make mention about this, that I recently heard this on the Dice Tower Top 100. Shim Phillip does interesting things with worker placement. This one, you pick one up, you put one down, you get both rewards. Depending on the color of them, you look at Architects of the West Kingdom, you get all your workers, and then that's something you don't really see all the time. You usually have to get more workers by doing in spots and buying them and stuff like that. In Paladins of the West Kingdom, your workers are basically your currency in that one. So I like what he's doing with worker placement games.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's do the breakdown for this one. Raiders of the North Sea versus Century Eastern Wonder. Which is easier to play?
Century.
Century, hands down.
Yeah.
Even with the fact that this one is technically higher than complexity level than the original Century, where it's just card play and upgrades and buying cards. This one, you got a little pick up and deliver. Not that bad.
Nope.
Moving on to replay value. Raiders of the North Sea does have a couple expansions.
Yes, it does. And
it has one expansion that it adds the two other games in the series into one big giant game.
Right. So that's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have all three in the trilogy, you could play 7 different games.
Yeah.
Which is that... I mean, maybe that's considered an expansion at that point,
Yeah, so...
It's an
actually, now that you mention it, Century allows you to combo those, but I'm talking about Raiders has one expansion that ties in all 3 of the big games. So talking about a grandiose game too. So
yeah, I don't think I'd ever want to play that. No, that sounds awful. So, but that's one expansion versus technically 2 expandalones.
Yeah.
For a Century. Length of time scaling well, definitely Century.
Oh yeah.
And minimum number of plays. That's tough. Probably Raiders
because of the cards, the different crews that you can get.
Although the board doesn't change all that much.
Yeah, not really.
No. But then again, realistically, no. Century, all it is just where the tiles.
You take that cube and take that cube.
Yeah. Okay. So replay value we'll give to Raiders.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Meaningful choice. This one's tough. Let's go back to this one.
Yeah, we'll
rewind it. Game immersion.
I mean, there's no theme in Century Eastern Wonders, so I would have to give that to Raiders.
I'd give that to Raiders, 100%. Too. Art and production.
Century, I think.
Ooh, that one's hard for me. Art and production, I think, has to go to Raiders. The art, subjective, I think the art is better in Century.
Yeah.
I think it is better. I'm not going to lie. The pieces and components, I think they're better in Raiders of the North Sea. Again, I have issue with those cubes, and I've known you struggle a little bit with them too. Mm-hmm. Whereas you don't really have that issue with the Raiders pieces.
Right.
When we're talking about, so for me, pieces and components go to Raiders.
Okay.
And it's good card stock. It's good. The board's nice. It's readable on the board itself. You know where everything is, and what. Even with the icons, it's still you're able to get it. The graphic design.
Graphic design, I actually like better in Century, but that's myself. That's not because it's unclear. The only knock that I have against Raiders, if I'm not mistaken, is when you put down certain workers, it is fairly icon heavy, and when you take things, the timing is a little weird, as well. But that's not really a knock on the graphics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with calling it a wash, but if you want to call it for either one, I'm okay with that too. I can't pick a side either way.
Yeah. All right. We're right now. It's what? Let's see. One.
Well,
2. So we have to make a decision unless we're going to go meaningful choice, and then it just goes to a wash.
that is tough. Well, actually, for that is very tough, isn't it?
Yeah. For me personally, I think Raiders wins art and production just barely.
You think Raiders? Okay. Is it for the art or for the pieces and components or the graphic design?
For me, it's the pieces and components and the graphic design for Raiders of the North Sea.
Okay. Illuminous voted for Raiders. You know what?
All right.
I'm all for it. Yeah.
All right.
Let's
so
move Raiders on.
We'll move Raiders on. Okay. Honestly, that was a tough one.
That hurt. It really genuinely did. But I don't.
Speaking
disagree.
of a tough one,
I want to try and make a counter argument against it, but I don't think I can. Like I really do.
Yeah.
I can't disagree that everything you're saying is correct for this once. Don't let it go to your head now, because it's just this once.
Remember, I'm always right. Just everybody else disagrees.
And our last bracket will be Amerigo versus Jamaica. This one hurts me more. And I'll be starting us off. Which one am I starting with?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Okay. I have to argue against the Feld. But I can do it. Because Jamaica is definitely simpler of a game. Because it's effectively a race, but not really. At the same time, you're racing to get points and gold and loot and whatnot. But you're doing that during the game as well. Mm-hmm. So just because you end up being the first to finish doesn't mean you're going to win. Now... I was listening to the podcast with the top 100 for the Dice Tower.
Yeah.
And Z Garcia made a reference to Jamaica, and he was like, "Look, he was like, everything is fair. You know I have a loaded cannon. We all know what's expected here. You chose to pick a fight with me." I love that. It seems like one of the more thematic pirate games.
It really does feel thematic.
I think out of those, it does make the most sense as far as theme. It is definitely a nautical game, definitely more than Amerigo, and that's even saying something because
Amerigo's more exploration.
It's exploration. You're almost a cartographer, but you do have to sail between the islands.
Yeah.
Ways. But man, it's. I don't think Jamaica is as fair as Amerigo, and what I mean by that is Amerigo is a very strong strategy game.
Yeah.
But I mean, art production.
Let me just say this between the two games. With Amerigo and Jamaica is more fun if you just want like that party game atmosphere and a tight board game.
Yes.
But Amerigo,
it's a better game.
Yes. Much better game.
Okay, I agree with that. So let's just break it down real quick just to make sure. Easy to play, Jamaica. Replay value, Amerigo. Yep, because you use the same map each time. The only thing is expandability, though, for Jamaica.
Jamaica has an expansion, yeah.
Which I own it for some reason. All right.
Meaningful choice, hands down, Amerigo.
Yep. No ifs, ands, or buts. Game immersion, Jamaica. And art and production, Jamaica. Okay, Jamaica moves on.
That was simpler than we thought, but ouch.
Yep, that hurt a little bit.
Though I do have to say, for art and production, Amerigo's probably one of the best looking Feld games.
It is. Queen definitely did a great job on it. And especially, and the Cube Tower is good too.
Yeah, and not only that, it's a good looking one. I think it's better looking than Merlin.
Yes, I agree with that.
And Amerigo was the one that was printed before Merlin.
My only production problem that I really dislike about Amerigo is the fact that when you lay out the tiles, you lay them out randomly. But certain islands can't have above a certain area, so you have to rotate tiles to where that works, and that might cause other tiles to be not functional as well. I never liked that. Like, it's a small thing during setup, and it doesn't affect the gameplay itself. I feel like there could have been a better way to do that somehow, but I don't know what. Obviously, if Stefan Feld made it, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's probably no other better way. So, with that being said, let's move on to our second round. But before we do, Daniel, how many votes did our eliminated games get?
So we're going to start with our lowest eliminated game, which was Deepsea Adventure, and it got nothing.
No votes.
No votes. Follow that up with the 6th seed, Century Eastern Wonders, that was also eliminated. No votes. Moving on to our number 4 seed, Amerigo, which was 1 vote.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the last one that was eliminated was our number 1 seed, Underwater Cities, which was our highest vote getter. 4.
Sorry, Underwater Cities. No love today. Our next round, we are going Lahav versus Aquatica.
I know which one I want to move on, but
we'll find out. Daniel, you will be going first.
Let's see which one I got to argue. Of course. Lahav.
Le Havre.
The harbor, folks. The harbor.
The harbor. No, it's Lahav. And let me tell you why. There is a city.
Here we go.
No, there is a city called Lahav. That is the name of the city. You don't come into Las Cruces and go, oh, we're in the city the Crosses. You don't translate the city name. There's actually a city called Lahav, which this is what it's based off of. So, no, it's not the harbor.
It's the harbor.
No, that's what the city's title. This game is based off of the city, Lahav. You do not change that. It's Lahav.
The harbor. All right, so we're going to go into this. This was a tough one for me because I know which one I like more. But Lahav is such a smart game, too. Yes. And there's a reason why it's a lot of people's favorites. It's number 2 on our list. Mm-hmm. If I had played Concordia, it would be number 3 on our list. So, yeah, it is a good game. I have a really good time playing it. For me, it's not going to win Art Production, and it's not going to win Ease of Play. Mm-hmm. The one thing you cannot argue is that this wins Meaningful Choice hands down.
Right.
This has a lot of meaningful choice in here based on, am I going to pay you to use your building? Am I going to use my resources to buy that building this way? Because I know you kind of want that building because it's powerful. Therefore, you have to pay me to use my building if I build that one. There is just so many choices. However, this game can be long. In a 2-player game, it took us, and mind you, this was like our first game. It almost took us 2 hours just to play this game. But it's so good. But honestly, worker placement game with discs. Come on. We have meeples. Yep. This was created after meeples. Come on.
It was. Significantly after. Not even just like a couple of years. No, this was a significant amount of time.
For both of these games, I like them for different reasons. I just like Aquatica because it's faster, quicker, and I get a good game.
Harder, better, faster, stronger.
No, we're not going to get demonetized because your love for whatever their name is. I can't think of it right now.
Those of you who know,
you know. I just can't think of the name. They broke up anyways.
When? I'm kidding. I totally know this. It was a sad day.
But, no, they lost all respect for me when they worked with Kanye.
No, they didn't work with him. He licensed their music and remixed it and called it his own. They didn't work with him. So, no, sir.
They could have sued him.
No, he licensed it. It was fair.
Yeah, I know.
Like, he didn't do anything wrong. I'm just saying he made it worse.
Yeah. All right, so getting back on topic.
Yes.
I think Aquatica should move on, but it's going to be a tough choice with Lahav.
Okay. Aquatica. I'm going to give you the 2 that are right off the bat. Ease of play, art and production. Mm-hmm. We know those go to Aquatica. That's easy. Meaningful choice, obviously that goes to Lahav. Okay. Game immersion. Neither of them are all that thematic. Mm-mm. I wouldn't say that I get a good feeling of trading in a harbor, but I don't know if I get more of a feeling of trading in a harbor than I do deep sea diving.
It's treasure hunting.
Treasure hunting?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, probably more treasure hunting than anything.
Yeah, because you're trying to get that, and you're like, okay, now I got to try to bank it.
Yeah. So, I mean, game immersion, but really the player interaction, the memorable moments, is just the combos.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that a non-specific game memorable moment is a memorable moment because it's every time you play it. That when you start figuring out those combos and everything you can do, and your turn starts going, then I do this, which causes this, which does this, and I'll do this, and then I can do this. When you're doing that, that is such a gratifying feeling that I think that's why it wins.
Oh, no, I give you game immersions as well.
The replay value, it doesn't matter then.
Yeah.
So that means Aquatica moves on.
Man, our 8 seed is just climbing.
Yeah, that's right.
It took out Lahav in Underwater Cities. That is...
But now it has either Raiders or Jamaica to deal with. So let's find out. Daniel, I caught it sideways. That doesn't help.
No, it does not.
It doesn't help people. I apologize. So Daniel, I will be leading us off.
Those are the wrong two.
And I will be arguing for either Raiders of the North Sea or Jamaica.
You get Jamaica again.
Good. Because definitely more memorable moments. Game immersion, this is there. The theme feels like it. Raiders doesn't feel like your Vikings.
No, you
at all. So
to the point, they made another skin of it that feels
Raiders
just as well.
Yeah. Whatever that is. I'm just saying it's not thematic.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're still raiding. You're just not in sea
it's
now.
Raiding. Yeah.
You're not in sea. It's over the land.
Yeah.
On horses.
Yeah. You could totally theme that onto everything. So it's definitely not a nautical game.
No.
As far as that's concerned. Ease of play.
It's a raiding game.
Ease of play goes to Jamaica. And the production, although Raiders of the North Sea, I'm not saying it's bad. But, wooden components, simple stuff. Whereas Jamaica, the pieces are pretty. The pods you move around, the ships are good. I mean, even the rule book, which a lot of people dislike it, folding out and looking like a map, a treasure map.
I get why they did that, but
it's thematic, it's cool, but it's not useful. I'm just saying it's cool.
It's annoying.
It is. But it's still cool. Yeah. And it's not that much of a detract. I don't know.
So Subterra, neither one of us has played, and right. Captain Nemo, which is, unless you're thinking like Nemo's Wars, that's a solo game. Neither one of us played either.
Yeah. So just to clarify that for Illuminous, but no, I think Jamaica needs to move on for all the points that we made before. It's definitely the more fun of the two. More non-gamers are going to get into it because they love that whole this makes you feel like a pirate. There's not many games that I play that I feel are both good and super thematic. But this scratches a really good itch.
Man, I just wish Dead Man Tell No Tales got on this list because I think that one would be...
That's a great game. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I can't disagree with you. Ease of play, I say Jamaica. Replay value is kind of iffy with both of them. Both have... I think Raiders has one expansion, but again, you have that one big game, so that...
And so does Jamaica.
Yeah. So, meaningful choice. Now, I will say meaningful choice is Raiders.
Yes. Oh, I agree.
Game immersion, Jamaica. Art production, Jamaica. So, yeah, I agree with you. Jamaica should move on.
All right. Jamaica moves on. Good job to Jamaica. And I'm glad that in our finals, Jamaica and Aquatica, we do have genuinely underwater theming games. I know it's not underwater as the theme, it's nautical, but at least it's the most thematic out of the
out
two.
Of these, yes.
Yeah.
So our eliminated, our number 3 seed, Raiders of the North Sea, was eliminated. And
right up there, right there, one vote.
One vote, huh? Yep, there it is. I saw Explorers in the North Sea and got confused.
Yep.
And Lahav, which was our 2 seed, just got eliminated in I think 0. Wow. Yep. I thought this would have more love.
It apparently doesn't.
It does not.
And not by us either.
Apparently not. Hey, it made it to the semis.
That's true. All right, our final round will be Aquatica versus Jamaica. Now, if you're a longtime viewer of the podcast, or listener, you understand we do not flip our coin of doom. We just simply do the breakdowns. So this will be I think this is going to be much more tough than I think we initially realized. Because there's one that I don't know how we're going to compare the two. We're going to have to really, really force ourselves to break it down. And that would be art and production. because both of them are really good quality games.
Oh.
But we'll get to that soon. If we can make a decision beforehand, we will. Is there any that immediately stick out? I don't think one's easier than the other.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they're both pretty simple. If I have to say anything, I think Ease of Play should go to Jamaica just because the AP prone of Aquatica at times.
Okay.
Because when sometimes they have to make the choice of fighting this thing or how they have to get their points there. So yeah, I think for me personally, I think Jamaica is just simpler because of the AP. Because I've run into a couple AP players playing this game.
And I would also almost give it likelihood to get to the table because people love pirates.
Pirate themes. And just before we move on, Illuminous Abyss actually isn't on Board Game Geek's Nautica. I haven't played Otis, nor I don't think you have played it either.
No.
Abyss was on my honorable mentions.
Yep. And so yeah, Ease of Play then. We'll give that point to
Jamaica.
That's right. Replay value and scaling well.
There's another one that jumps out to me.
Which one?
I think there's more meaningful choice in Aquatica than Jamaica.
Yes, I agree with that. Okay. Replay value.
There's one expansion for both of them.
Okay. So length of time and scaling well. How many players does Jamaica play? I don't remember off the top of my head.
6, I think.
Is it?
5 or 6. It's got a pretty big count.
Yeah. Which Aquatica, the base, I think is 4.
Yes. The expansion, I think, adds 5.
Okay. So let's find out real quick, just to make sure.
2 to 6, yeah.
2 to 6, okay. So scaling well.
Out of the box, Jamaica's already bigger.
But I do think Jamaica takes longer, too.
Yeah, it
Aquatica can be really fast.
Yeah. 30 to 60 minutes seems about right for Jamaica. It's really just how many people are playing the game. If you're playing a 4-player game of Jamaica and a 4-player game of Aquatica, Aquatica's going to win slightly.
Okay.
Minimum never plays for the full experience, though.
That would almost definitely be Aquatica.
Yeah.
Yep, just because of the different characters you can play as the different leaders.
And then
all the cards that come
with
out
the expansion actually changes in-game scenarios, too.
Right, but base alone, I think, still...
And then since we both agreed it's one expansion each, so that's a wash.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Aquatica wins replay value?
I guess so. Aquatica.
Oh wait, that's on the wrong one.
Game immersion. I would say almost definitely that would be
Jamaica. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you on that one. You do feel like you're a pirate. You can...
Yes.
If you want to, you could be a pirate. Load up on cannons and go pick fight with the person who has the most gold.
Yeah. Now, art. Now we're in art and production. This is what's we decided.
Yeah.
Art alone, I personally, and I know this is entirely subjective, I personally like Aquatica better.
I agree with you on the art there.
Okay.
Jamaica, it's just a little too cartoony for me.
And it's fantastic art.
Oh, it's great.
Jamaica's gorgeous. My personal preference is I like Aquatica a little bit better because I love that washed out dark blue. So we're both colorblind, so that's probably an advantage.
It helps us a lot, yeah. Pieces and components.
Okay. So the ships and all the pieces that are in there, I don't remember if it comes with metal coins or not.
I don't think it does.
Let's take a look at the images real quick. I know it comes with coins. We're going to have to review the photos on Board Game Geek real quick. The ships are cool. The dice are fine. The night and the day cycle is pretty cool. The sundial token.
Doesn't look like it because it looks like
cardboard.
Cardboard tokens.
All the pieces are really cool. But Aquatica has the manta rays.
Yeah, those manta rays.
And the double layer board that has a sliding
where you get sliding effect. As well as the card stock's really good too.
It is. So I guess that means pieces and components part of it goes to Aquatica.
Which means 2 out of 3.
Right, and the graphic design goes to Aquatica as well.
I do have to agree.
That means
3 to 2.
3 to 2. Our winner is Aquatica.
I think this is like the first 8 seed that went all the way. We may have one more.
We'll have to review it later.
Yeah.
How many votes did they get?
So let's move over to the vote total in Jamaica. gotten no love, it looks like.
Nope.
No votes. And Aquatica was our second best voted on game with 3.
Wow. So
I guess Aquatica wasn't really, or aquatic themes or nautical themes was not really loved on Board Game Revolution.
No, not too much. But, I'm okay with Aquatica winning. And I think that the reason it's so ranked as low as it is because it's still kind of a new game. Where, it went up against the final was the 5th versus the 8th seed.
Yeah.
Need we say more? And the ironic part of it is you and I are Euro gamers. Those are 2 games. I'm not saying Aquatica isn't Euro-y. It totally is. But Jamaica definitely isn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say about that. Let's quickly review our contest real quick for our viewers and our listeners. Once again, you have a chance to win a free copy of Horrified American Monsters, care of Daniel. But he's been nice enough to donate it to our first contest. They are not a sponsor. So
no, they're not. It came out of my pocket.
Yep, that's right. It came out of your pocket, and I would happily reimburse you. Maybe I'll donate a game one of these days. Marty's contest will come out of my pocket.
Sounds good to me. The best way you can get a chance to win this game is you can follow us on Twitter, Twitch, and subscribe to us on YouTube. That gives you a ticket into the contest. Each one of those. So that's 3 tickets right there. As well as you can email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. In the subject line, in the subject line, Horrified. In the body, you do the secret word of the day. And what is the key word today?
Champy.
So that's right. You put Champy in the body, send us that email, and that gives you an additional vote. We got 2 more episodes before the cutoff, so pay attention and listen out.
That's right. Your cutoff is March 11th. So if you're listening to us live, you'll hear quite a few episodes before we pick a winner, but if you're listening to this on recording, you only got 2 more episodes left, so make sure you enter that.
And with that being said, let's close it out.
All right. So we definitely want to thank every one of our live viewers, especially even with the technical difficulties. Thank you so much for tuning in. Illuminous, thank you so much. If3, thank you. JDW Games, or JDWBG, Good Design.
Lexi B.
Lexi B. Yeah, we want to thank you all for tuning in, and anybody else who listened to it. If you ever want to join us in on a live chat and watch us as we struggle with our technical difficulties.
Hey, this time it's not our fault, all right? It's the internet provider.
Absolutely. We want you to tune in to twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. And remember, also subscribe there so you're notified when we go on live. And you also have a chance to win that sweet, sweet sealed game.
As well as you can find all video re-uploads on YouTube at Everyday Board Games 2020. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on that platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject. As well as all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, and Podbean.
So if you want to reach out to us directly, say hi, give us an idea for a future episode, or enter in our contest, email us at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com.
As well, if you want another token, you can follow us on our Twitter account at EBG Podcast.
So we want to thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And we want to thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.